Hello everyone, welcome to Code Language. In this video, we're going to be working on a small JavaScript challenge. This video is designed for JavaScript beginners. If you are taking a JavaScript course as a beginner using Code Language, using Code Academy, you probably may have come across this challenge here called Race Day. Alright, if you haven't seen it, you probably will see it if you're taking the full stack developer course, or if you're probably just taking JavaScript. Alright, so in this video I'm going to explain to you how this code all comes together, and that's what it does. Alright, now I highly advise that if you haven't solved this yourself, try to do it on your own, and if you get stuck, then you can watch this video. Okay, I highly recommend you do that. Alright, now in this video I'm gonna be very explanatory as much as possible, because I believe in, as a beginner, you should be able to understand what the code is doing. You should be able to read the code and understand exactly what task the code is performing, rather than just memorizing a code. I think the memorizing part comes naturally, okay, but understanding what the code is doing, being able to read the code, it's a lot more important. All right, so over here, just follow with me, all right, and I will try to explain everything as much as possible. So here we see here that it says, you could look at it like maybe like a business, or someone that needs help with coding. Let me refresh this thing here. When you don't do anything, it just times out on you. Okay, so let's say a business has called you to write a code for them, right? And they're sort of giving you instructions of what they want, right? So it's up to you to code it the way they want the system to look like, right? So here it's saying Code Academy's annual race is just around the corner. This year we have lots of participants. You have been hired to write a program that will register runners for the race and give them instructions on race day. Okay, as a timeline, registration will look something like this. Okay, so looking at the timeline, we can see that at 9:30 a.m. The adults who registered early, okay, they're gonna be racing at 9:30 a.m. right? You can see that right here. Adults who registered late will be racing at 11 a.m. and the young people will be racing at 12:30 p.m. right? So we could use this as a timeline, right? So again, it's explaining here. Here's how our registration works. There are adult runners that are over 18 years of age, and youth runners under 18 years of age. They can register early or late. Okay, runners are assigned a race number and start time based on their age and registration. Okay, so here is the race number. Here it says early adults receive a race number at or above 1,000. Okay, so take note of all this. Early adults, okay, meaning that those who register early, okay, will receive a race number at or above 1,000. All others receive a number below 1,000. So looking at the code right here, which I'll get to, and I'll explain everything so you can understand and grasp what's going on. We are trying to randomly assign race numbers to all the runners. Okay, so here's how it's going to look like. That the adults who register early will receive a race number at or above 1,000. All others below 1,000. Okay. The start time, adult registrants run at 9:30 or 11 a.m. Okay, early adults will run at 9:30 a.m. late adults will run at 11 a.m. And then the young people, the young registrants run at 12:30 p.m. regardless of registration. Okay, pay attention to these words because they are going to play a factor when you're coding in JavaScript. Okay, the ands and then the ors, or doesn't matter. Pay attention to all those words because we're going to be using that in JavaScript. It says here that, but we didn't plan for runners that are exactly 18. We will handle that by the end of the project. Okay, so if you, well, this one is for those who get stuck. All right, so like I said, guys, try to do it on your own, and if you get stuck, then you can watch this video to help you out. The purpose of this video, I didn't do this video to just help you cheat, but rather to explain what the code is doing. I want you to be able to read the code and also to explain or to understand exactly what the code is doing, what task the code is doing. Okay, so it says here, task 1 here, it says raise numbers are assigned randomly. Okay, so as you can see, this is like a random JavaScript code that generates random numbers between 0 and 1,000. Okay, it says here we've provided the necessary code at the top of the file, and that's this code they're talking about. Check off this task after reading that line. You can read the hint if you want to learn how it works. Okay, we may not have to read the hint. All right, so over here it's just asking us to read this code, but I'm going to explain, like I told you, I want to explain to you what is happening over here. All right, so here we've declared a variable called raise number, right? And we've set that to generate a random number between 0 and 1,000. Now this right here is the JavaScript code that generates a random number between 0 and 1,000. Okay, now the one on the left hand side here is what's gonna run the number down to a whole number. Okay, because if we don't use this math.floor, a lot of times when the number is generated, it comes out in decimal. All right, now I'm gonna show you an example. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. Let's say we remove this math.floor. all right, now this is the code that's going to generate the random number between 0 to 1,000. okay, so we're going to set that to this variable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and console log. Let me console log this one, or as some others will say, let me print it out. So we're going to print that out and we'll see what happens here. Okay, so if I print this out, watch what's gonna happen. Did you see what happened? There is a decimal. We don't want to put this number on the those who are going to be running. Okay, we don't want to put 842.62 blah 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 blah. We don't want that. We want a nice whole beautiful number. Okay, so this is where this formula comes in right here. So we put that in front of it, and what it does is that it's going to round up this number to a whole number. Okay, so again, we're going to generate, I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to generate another random number, and let's see what happens. So you see that right here, it was able to generate a number between 0 and 1,000, okay, but it wasn't in decimal format. The math.floor has rounded the number to a whole number. This is a nice number we could put, you know, on a card and, you know, give it to the to those that are racing. Okay, this is a lot better, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and comment this side out. I just use it to explain to you what is happening over here. All right, so we're gonna check this first box. The second one says create a variable that indicates whether a runner registered early or not. Okay, so we're going to create a new variable. I'm just going to say, call it something like Ellie registry. All right, and then it says to set it equal to a Boolean value. So I'm just gonna set it to true for now. Let's just set it to true. True is a Boolean value. You could also leave it empty if you want to, but since they said to set it to a Boolean value, we just set it to true. Okay, so we've just declared a variable here, which will be Ellie registry, and we set it to true. So remember what it says is create a variable that indicates whether a runner registered Ellie or not. Okay, so if this is the case of a runner, if it's pointing to true, then that means the runner did register Ellie. Okay, so what do you think will be the situation, the Boolean value for a runner that did not register Ellie? We're gonna set this to false. Oops, is it false? There we go. False. Okay, so if we have this, then it's telling us that the runner did not register Ellie. Okay, I'm just gonna set it to true for now. All right, now it says you will change this later as you test different runner conditions. All right, so we have the number 2 done. All right, and then we're now gonna, it says here, it says create a variable for the runner's age and set it equal to a number. Okay, so we're gonna create another variable. We're gonna use a let variable. In some cases you can also use a constant variable, but because we're gonna be changing stuff, we're gonna use let for now. I'm gonna say runner's age, and I'm gonna set it right now to say 25. Okay, for now. All right, since you will change this later as you test different. Okay, so we're done with step 3. All right, it says here, create a control flow statement that checks whether the runner is an adult and registered early. Okay, and then it says to add 1,000 to their race number if this is true. Okay, so here we're gonna create a flow statement. So it's gonna say if runner's age is greater than 18, that means they are an adult, right? And if they registered early registry right here, if they registered early, then we want to add see here, race number, we want to add 1,000 to the number. All right, so you can see right here, we're creating something called a flow statement. Okay, so we're saying that this is sort of like 2 conditional statements right here. Okay, we're saying that if they're an adult, which means if they're over 18 years old, and if they registered early, we want this code right here to be executed, right? So in this case, we can try it over here. 25 years old is an adult, so that meets that condition, right? And if they registered early, that means that if we generate a number, if we console log right here, let me see if I can let me take off this one right here. Hold on a minute. Let me just write another one here. So if we console log this, we're gonna be generating a number that is okay. The random number that will be generated will have to be over 1,000. Okay, it cannot be below 1,000 any longer. Okay, because of this code right here that we created. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, and you see that random number is now over 1,000 because we've created a code here that checks for these two conditions. These two conditions are true. 25 years old is over 18, that's true, and early registry is true, so the random number will stay above 1,000. If I create another random number, you could see right here, all the random numbers are over 1,000. Okay, now if it happens that one of them is not true, let's say the runner's age is, let's say, 17 years old, right? So now they are young. Check what happens. See right there, the number now has fallen under 1,000. Okay, so this is the beauty of conditional statements. Conditional statements can be very addictive. You know, if you get it, it's really fun. I'm going to change this back to 25. All right, let me go ahead and delete this console log thing. I just use it to explain what we just did over here. All right, so we're done with this part here with the conditional, the control flow, I should say. All right, so after this control flow, the next task here says create a separate control flow statement below the first, starting with the if. Again, this statement will check age and registration time to determine race time. Okay, so we're going to create a new if statement. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and create that right underneath this one. Okay, and we're saying that we wanted to check for age and we wanted to check registration time to determine the race time. Okay, so I'm gonna say something like so here it's saying that for runners over 18 who registered early, log a statement to the console telling them that they will race at 9:30 a.m. include their race number. All right, so we're gonna say if the runner's age is greater than 18, or in other words, if they are adults, and another, we want to check for another condition right here, and if registry is also true. Okay, if this is the case, then we want to console log, or we want to print. I'm gonna use the interpolate. Let's see right here, right over there. Your race time will be 9:30, right? 9:30. 9:30 a.m. and your hold on a minute. I hope you guys can see. All right, I think you guys should be able to see. And your race number will be, I'm gonna use this right here. Your race number, no, not this one. Your race number will be, yeah, this right here. Your race number will be race number, and then I'm gonna put a period right here, and then I'm gonna say that. Okay, so it says for runners over 18 who registered early, log this statement. Okay, so if this happens, let's see what happens when we click that. Okay, so we could see that if the runner is an adult, okay, which means if the runner's age is over 18 and if they registered early, okay, when we look here, the runner is an adult, is 25, they registered early, right? We can see here we're telling the console to print out the time they're going to be running, and also we want them to generate a random number. and that random number will be above 1,000. Remember that it's it's agreeing to this if statement, so it will be over 1,000, right? Okay, so we're done with the first part of the condition. All right, let's do another one here. It says late adults run at 11 a.m. Since we already checked for early adults, we can write a statement like this. Else, if runner is over 18 and did not register early, they will raise at 11 a.m. Write the corresponding else if statement. Okay, and then it says within that, log a string to the console telling them that they will raise at 11 a.m. Include their raise number. Okay, so we're gonna write an else statement, and in this else statement we're gonna check for adults who did not register early. Okay, so let's write an else statement. So we're gonna say else if runner's age is over 18. In other words, we're saying that if they're adult and they did not register early, so that's gonna be early registry will be set to false. Okay, to false. All right, so if this is the case, then we want to console log, or we want to print something out for them, and that's gonna be your raise time will be 11 a.m. and your raise number will be, and I'm gonna use this dollar sign, and this right here will be raise number. All right, I'm gonna put my period right here. I'm gonna close this right now over here. All right, so we wrote the else if statement right here, and the else if statement is checking to see if they are an adult. Okay, so this is true. This does match the condition, and then it's also saying that if it's not just that, and if the registration is late. Okay, if these two conditions are met, then print this out. All right, so we're gonna do a console log real quick right here. Let me just copy this one over here and bring him here and just uncomment him. Copy, paste. All right, and I'm just gonna remove the comment right here. Okay, so if we go ahead and we print, oops, we have an error. What caused this error? Console log, what is this saying? Let's try to figure this out. So this is in the console log. Oh, I see it. I see it. This is the error right here. Okay, I put the period outside of that quotation. There we go. All right. So, actually, we don't even need this guy. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's go ahead and try to save this and see what happens. Okay. When we save this, we can see that it's still showing the first print, right? Why is that? Why is it that? Because we are looking at the early registrant. Early registration is still true, right? So it is still printing this first one right here. Did you get it? You get it? When you hit save, it's still printing the very first console log string. Okay, now you can see that the numbers are still, randomizing, right? It's still generating randomized number. So let's see a situation where the condition actually matches with this. Okay, so that's gonna happen when the early registration is false. Okay, so if that happens, then this condition has been met. Okay, they are adults and then they registered late. So in that case, their racing time will be 11 a.m. and then we'll generate their number. So let's go ahead and print and see what happens. This time should change to 11 a.m. Okay. Oops. We have another error. Why this error? Else if runner's age not defined. Okay, I see what happened. Runner's age, I've made it runner age. Let's put an S here and then hit save. Okay, there we go. So guys, hey, it happens, guys. When you're coding, sometimes, one little dot, one little alphabet can cause an error. So just take note of that. I didn't crop that out. I just want you to know that these things happen. It's all part of learning. Debugging your code is also part of learning. All right, so I'm not gonna crop it out. I just want you to see that as you code, especially as beginners, you will sometimes forget some periods. You may misspell certain things and it's going to generate an error to let you know. Okay, so in this case we see that we did change the early registry to false. Okay, so that did match this part of the condition, and also the runner's age is 25. That also matched this and it's true. So when we click right there to save, we can see that it did print it out. The right string was printed out. Okay, so they will be running at 11 a.m. and then it also generated a number. Okay, now why is that number less than 1,000? It is because it does not match this condition that we set over here, this if condition, right? So here they are adults, right? Over 18, true, but the right side of the condition is false. That's why the number was not over 1,000. Okay, I hope that helped out. Okay, so we're done with 6. Let's go over to the youth registrants. Okay, so it's saying here that the youth registrants run at 12:30 p.m. regardless of registration. So pay attention to all these things. Those words with regardless, and, or, those things are very important when you're coding. Okay, because that's how you want to code it. So it's saying here, regardless of registration. It says for people who are under 18 years, meaning they are younger, log a statement to the console telling them that they will raise at 12:30 p.m. and include their number. All right, so we're going to write another else if statement right here. All right, so we're gonna say else if runner's age is less than 18, or, okay, remember this time around we're not using the end. Remember what I say is regardless of registration. In other words, we're saying if the runner's age is less than 18, or, and we're gonna bring early registry here, early registry. Okay, now this doesn't matter if it's true or not. Okay, because as soon as one of the condition is met, the console log will execute the string. Okay, so that's all we need. We just need one side of the condition to be met, and the console log will execute the string. All right, so we don't even have to bother about the other side, but I just put that in there, it say regardless. Okay, so over here we're gonna console log right here. We're gonna say your race time will be 12:30 p.m. and your race number will be $, right here. I'm gonna put race number variable. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my period right there, and I'm gonna close this for now. Okay, so over here we're saying that as long as they are under 18 years old, it don't matter whether they registered early or not. If they meet that condition of being younger or under 18 years old, we want this string to print to the console. All right, right now they're still adults, so that's not, so let's see a situation whereby a 17-year-old registers. Okay, so let's see, once we put 17 here, regardless of whether they registered early or not, this string has to print. Okay, so we just changed this to 17, so let's see what happened. Okay, so you see right there that they will be racing at 12:30. Okay, so even if they are 14 years old, okay, anything underneath 18, they will be racing at 12:30. So the console will print this last string over here. Okay, if we go above 18 and make it 19, then we're gonna have to check to see if the other statement right here, it looks like they fall under the second condition. So this one printed out because they are now adults, right? Okay, so we're done with number 7. Here it says enter different combinations of values for the 2 variables you created and run your code several times. Verify that the correct statements are printing to the console. You can check your work using the examples provided in the hint. So I think that's what we just did. All right, so let's go ahead. We've done this one also. And then the last one is, it says don't forget about runners who are exactly 18 years old. Okay, this is the beauty of if-else statements. It's really nice if you learn how to use this. You could use it for so many different things. Okay, let's see right here. You can even use it for you can program something for like students, right? Maybe student grades, right? So you say if you score between 90 to 100, print your score is A, right? You got an A, right? And then you could do something between 80 to 90 is B, right? You could do something like that. So you could use if else for quite a lot of different things. Okay, so here we're gonna work on those who are exactly 18. The previous ones we've been doing it for those who are above 18 or younger, or less than 18 years old. This one is exactly those who are exactly 18. So it says that add an else statement. Usually the else statement is the last one. It often starts with the if statement, and then the else if are the statements in between, and then the last one is the else. Okay, so we're saying that if any one of these conditions are not met, then we want an else statement, which you can call it like the default or fallback statement. Okay, we want the else statements to print. All right, so it says add an else statement that logs a statement to the console telling the runner to see the registration desk. Okay, so let's say that if the runner is exactly 18, now since we've already taken care of those who are above 18 and those who are younger than 18, anyone else left must be 18, exactly 18 years old, right? So we're just gonna say, hey, else we just want you to console log. We just want you to console log this information. Looks like you are I'm gonna use looks like you are runner's age. Okay, runner's age. I'm just gonna add years right here. Please talk to one of our reps at the desk. Period. Okay, so this is what's gonna happen if they are exactly 18 years old, meaning that if they are exactly 18, they will not match any of the conditions here, up here, over here, and over here. They won't match any of them. So in that case, we want this string to print. So let's go ahead and test it out. Let's test the runner's age and input 18 years old here. And this should print the very last string to the console. So let's do that and see what happens. So you see right there, looks like you're 18 years old, or you're 18 years. Please talk to one of our reps at the desk. All right. So guys, this is a simple conditional or conditions, what's called in JavaScript. Okay, it's very important, guys, that you understand exactly what the code is doing. Okay, the foundation level is very important, and if you get it, you can do a lot more complex, you can write a lot more complex code. All right, this is why I'm taking time to explain into details exactly what is happening here. All right, it's more important to understand what the code is doing, to read the code and understand it. It's more important to do that than to just memorize and write the code. The memorizing part will come naturally as you solve problems, as you do exercises and work on projects. You tend to memorize stuff naturally, especially when you solve problems and debug code. You will memorize things, but understanding the code is a lot more important. All right, I hope you found this video useful. I'll be posting a lot more videos like this, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you should be seeing more useful videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day. All right, bye.